Hey, what up everybody, this is Steve Breach coming to you here. The news story that pretty much is now racked up every wrestling dirt sheet page, for the last few days is talking about Hulk Hogan and his racial comments. I've listened to a lot of podcasts on the thing, I've read a lot of articles, I was flipping through all of the news shows throughout the weekend, basically seeing the coverage that, NBC, Today's Show, VH1, CNN, Headline News. I was seeing how a lot of people were covering the story, seeing how, Hulk Hogan is a major American icon for pop culture from the 1980s. Although it has been years and years, he is such a big star that he is sort of like... maybe the closest, fall of a superstar that we've seen to his caliber would be like Hasselhoff from Baywatch. This guy was a huge, big star, and alcoholism took him down, and people wanted to see this guy get better. I remember, the video of him, drunken, in a drunken stupor on a hotel floor, eating a hamburger like it was... Basically, the closest thing I can relate it to is like a homeless person, eating out of the dumpster. It's pretty much what it was. And I believe it was one of his sons had filmed this to sort of show him and hopefully embarrass him to clean his life up and try and get better. And the best way I heard it put was basically on Cheap Heat, was that America loves a good story of somebody falling down and picking themselves up. If you can see a major celebrity get run through the ringer for a mistake that they made in their life, and they're able to actually change this and sort of rehabilitate themselves to get them back up to the status that they once were, America really gets behind those stories. And sometimes you can see the media really jump on a star and really just hit them those extra few times, trying to knock them down because they know that they're going to make as much money on their rehabilitation tour, building them up as they do kicking them down. And I'm not saying that the media is jumping on Hulk Hogan or anything like that, or the WWE, because everything that Hulk Hogan is getting at this point, honestly, he deserves. The words that he said, I know people trying to defend him, saying that these were public statements. I apologize. They were not public statements. They were private statements that were because of an illegally shot sex tape, are now common knowledge. And that makes it even worse. I mean, if somebody's going to, sort of portray themselves as being this huge American icon, and then behind closed doors, they're this totally different person, that's not the way the world should work. But then at the other hand, you see WWE trying to, publicly, cut all ties with Hulk Hogan, scrub him from the website. People are saying that they give him the Chris Benoit treatment, basically where if you go to WWE.com or WWE Shop, you can go and not find any mention of Hulk Hogan. Some people have said that if you go to the Australian tour, he's still booked as making an appearance there, but I'm pretty sure he's not coming, and WWE might have fixed it. The podcast that I listened to was, I believe, they recorded it 2 days ago. Cheap Heat, one of my favorite wrestling podcasts, they did a regular podcast, and then this story broke, and it was a big enough story that they went back into the studio and gave their thoughts of, people who grew up idolizing Hulk Hogan, and where they go from here. Honestly, I thought it was a really, really good podcast, and I recommend you guys going out and checking this out. But I know that WWE is sort of trying to put all the focus, like it was Hulk, it wasn't us, we didn't do it. And when I was watching the Today Show, they actually showed one of the worst segments that WWE's ever done in the history of their time. It didn't make any sense why they would have done this, and of course this is from Survivor Series 2005. It is a segment of Vince McMahon coming in and crossing ties with John Cena, and in this skit, he greets John Cena with the N-bomb, and to me, honestly, with my beliefs, I don't care which version of the word you use. it still has the same meaning to me. And I know there's, different people from different races and different places, and it's a horrible word, and no matter which way you should put it, the way that Booker T put it on on Twitter was that the word should just be abolished from the English vocabulary. That's exactly the way that I should put it. The amount of hurt and pain and the meaning of what that word means, everybody should just cross that off of their vocabulary. It should never be a word that's used publicly, privately, tweeted, texted. It doesn't matter in any way. It shouldn't be out there. But for Vince McMahon, in 2005, he was a part of what WWE is of today. It's a publicly traded company, and he was your head honcho of the company. For him to come out here and drop this, I'm surprised it wasn't a bigger bomb than it was. I don't know if they did it for trying to get street value for John Cena, or if they were trying to just let Vince McMahon show how big his balls are, or hoping that in 2005 it would sort of give the company a little bit of exposure, with even if it being bad exposure, with people covering this. It definitely got covered through wrestling news sites of people saying how stupid and how dumb this was. 2005, Twitter wasn't around, Facebook wasn't around. I'm sure people were going on MySpace and saying how stupid this is, but I honestly am surprised that you can go on YouTube and still find the video. It's not on WWE's WWE Universe page, but definitely, fans have put this up as a way of showing how stupid this segment is. I don't think anybody's really a big fan of this segment, but honestly, with the WWE Network, people are wondering what they're going to do to try and scrub Hulk Hogan from this. When I got home today from my trip, I wanted to turn on some sort of wrestling. I ended up watching Swerve, but I was really surprised that in my recommendation viewing, you go into the network so many times, there's so many things on there, from WCW, ECW, World Class, WWE, WWF. There's so many things out there to watch that sometimes it's hard to pick something, but recommended viewing right there down there on the bottom, Hulk Hogan's unreleased collector's series. Of course, this was, I believe, the third DVD set that WWE made of Hulk Hogan. It simultaneously released just when he debuted in TNA, so I believe this came out in 2010, but I honestly was surprised. I'd heard they pulled Hulk Hogan's cartoon from back in the day, so still having this on the network is hope, but definitely in my mind, I hope that WWE would scrape the segment from the 2005 thing, but if you scrape Hulk Hogan from the network, you lose WrestleManias 1 through 9. You lose your first SummerSlams of SummerSlam 88, SummerSlam 89, SummerSlam 90, SummerSlam 91. Some of the biggest shows. I mean, definitely when I think of being a wrestling fan as a kid, some of the first things that I watched on the WWE Network for it was WWF of 1990, 1991. Some of the best pay-per-views of all time. It's going to be weird, and definitely maybe the WWE Network realizes that they won't be able to survive, saying that they have, the entire library. If you lose all of these shows, WrestleMania 9, I don't really think of Hulk Hogan, but it does have that ending with Hogan coming in at the end and beating Yokozuna, which set up him, dropping the title to Yokozuna at King of the Ring. Definitely wasn't what they were thinking of doing if you've read Bret Hart's book, but where they go from here is definitely weird, but I think that WWE, honestly, I don't want to really say that they haven't done the right thing, but definitely there is a little bit of hypocrisy going on with, this is something that Vince McMahon has said on a pay-per-view, and by them covering it up, trying to say that this was a skit acted out on television and is nothing more different than a fictional character on a television show. I really think that, honestly, they had a chance to issue an apology, and they didn't do it. And I think that, honestly, in my mind, it makes WWE, Vince McMahon, as guilty as Hulk Hogan is.